Today we're going to talk about low voltage. Low voltage can cause all kinds of problems that mask themselves, and it takes a little bit of work to try to determine what the problem is. So low voltage will be indicated by this power light on the front of the monitor. It will typically be flashing slowly, and a few things you need to diagnose this are going to be a multimeter. You'll want a multimeter that is capable of capturing both low and high voltage. And then you'll need a 3mm Allen wrench to remove the bolts here. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll remove all 4 bolts. And typically what we recommend is when you remove the lid, you're going to have this ribbon cable you have to be careful of. Use the right 2 screws to secure to the left 2 holes of the enclosure. What this does is it gives you the ability to see the boards and to make connections inside here, as well as have full operational control of your monitor. So with your multimeter, what you're going to want to do is put it in the DC settings, typically the 20 volt range. And when you're measuring for low voltage, you always want to measure as close as you can to the monitor. In this case, your incoming power is designated by the red and black 14 gauge wire. In most cases, you can just stick your leads in there and hold it with one hand. And then you'll be able to see your meter. At this point, what you'll want to do is you're going to want to operate the monitor to a hard stop and measure the voltage. At that point, it should give you a low voltage indication on your meter that you'll be able to scroll through and see where that dropped to. Here it shows you your maximum value. You press the button again, it'll show you your minimum. And that's the number we're looking for when the voltage drops, to see what that goes down to. So when it comes to low voltage, your options are, track down the problem. It could be as simple as a loose ground. It could be improperly gauged wire running from the power supply to the monitor. In that case, we do sell a product called PUREPWR. What this device does is it's a series of capacitors, and we call it the supercapacitor. What it does is when you apply power to it, it charges up the capacitors, and if you have a brownout or a drop in voltage, it carries the voltage long enough for the monitor not to mess up. As you can see from the cables, it's a simple plug and play. It's a Deutsch plug in, Deutsch plug out, so it'll plug right in line to your monitor. So it is important when you are measuring for low voltage, you need to do it when the monitor is moving to a hard stop, and when it drives into that hard stop. At that point, that is the biggest current load on the system, and it's going to draw the most amperage. And if you have a low voltage situation, that's going to be your best way. That's why you need a multimeter that can capture voltage. When it resets, it's so quick. We're talking about 100 milliseconds, a quick time frame. And the typical refresh rate of a multimeter can't capture that. That's where you have to be able to capture the low voltage.